Picture the most beloved grandmother in the world. Pearls, pastel coats, and a smile that made an entire country feel safe. That's Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, the Queen Mother everyone remembers. But here's what most people never found out. Behind that smile was a financial disaster so deep, the man whose entire job was to control it may have paid for it with his health. And by the time she died at 101, the debt she left behind was just the beginning of the story. Stay with me, because where this ends is not where you think. In 1961, a careful, old-fashioned aristocrat named Sir Ralph Anstruther signed up for one task: to keep the Queen Mother's spending under control. He was the opposite of extravagant. He made his own jam, bulk bought groceries, and watched every pound. For almost 40 years he tried. But by the 1990s, people inside the household were describing the job itself as effectively impossible. In his final years on the job, Anstruther suffered 2 strokes. Some royal insiders have long suspected that the stress of decades spent fighting a losing battle played a part, though no one has ever confirmed that for certain. Don't stop watching now, because Anstruther wasn't even the only casualty. Her own accountant got so worn down trying to manage her money that, according to one report, his wife begged him more than once to walk away from the job entirely. So what was she spending on that was this bad? Start with horses. By 1970, she kept a stable of around a dozen racehorses, costing more than £1 million a year just to run. Then add a cattle herd at her beloved Castle of May, couture clothing, vintage champagne by the case, and a serious habit for fine antiques. One of those categories alone could break a budget. She had 5. And here's the moment this stops being a money story and turns into a political one, because the spending eventually got so bad that the British government itself had to step in. Her official allowance, called the Civil List, started at £70,000 a year. In the early 1970s, the palace quietly asked the government to double it. Prime Minister Edward Heath said no. His cabinet feared it would trigger public backlash against the entire royal family. The number did eventually climb, past 300,000 by 1990, then to 643,000. Still not enough. Her household staff alone cost around £1.5 million a year in wages. So who quietly filled the gap? Her own daughter, the Queen, covered an estimated £2 million a year just to keep her mother's lifestyle running. Even her grandson, Prince Charles, was chipping in from his own pocket. But none of that compares to what came out the day she actually died. So don't look away yet. When the Queen Mother passed away in 2002 at the age of 101, the truth finally became impossible to hide. She had run up an overdraft at her bank, Coutts, of around £4 million, with some reports placing her total outstanding debts above £7 million. For 4 decades, the family had kept almost all of it out of public view. Here's the part almost nobody talks about, and it's bigger than anything you've heard so far, because being millions in debt didn't mean she was actually broke. It meant the rules were about to bend for her. Once everything was finally added up, the art, the jewels, the antiques, her estate was valued somewhere between 50 and 70 million pounds. And thanks to a tax agreement quietly struck years earlier between the monarchy and the British government, designed to stop royal wealth eroding generation after generation, her entire fortune passed to the Queen completely free of inheritance tax. One decision. An estimated £20 million saved. No questions asked. So was the Queen Mother reckless, or just a royal woman who never had to worry about money because everyone around her did the worrying for her?